In this video, we're going to learn how to build and set up a discussion board within your course. First, you want to locate the module where you want to place the discussion board, and then you want to open the module by clicking on its picture. So I'm going to click on the number 1 here, as it's this picture here. Then you'll see the standard items such as the unit overview and the learning materials folder. Now, what you want to do is when you're ready to add the discussion board, you want to hover underneath the learning materials folder, and if you have another item such as perhaps an assignment or a quiz, you just want to hover either above or below it. So when I do so and I hover underneath the learning materials folder, the line turns purple, and then what I can do is I can click on that purple line, and then once I have this panel here, I'm going to click on Create, and then once in here, I'm going to locate the participation and engagement section of this right-hand panel, and then I am going to click on Discussion. And when I click on Discussion, this is what it's going to look like. So if you can't see the cursor flashing, the cursor is automatically flashing at the title. If it's easier for you, just click on the word New, and what I recommend is giving it a title. Now, this does not have to be the final title. This is just going to be something that it's going to help you remember what it is when you look at this discussion board. When you have a title that you're happy with, you just click on this white space above or below. Doesn't matter. Now, please remember that when you create a discussion board from scratch, it automatically is hidden from students. Now, when you are ready, you will click on the word hidden and make it visible or add your release conditions. This step is optional at this moment because you may still be working on it. I'm going to make it visible. Now, for the question, there are 2 choices. You either will, if you don't have a question and you need support building one, you'll use the auto-generate discussion feature. If, however, you have your question and you're ready to put it up, you're just going to locate this text box here, and what I did is I just clicked on the word what, and it allows me to begin typing. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and put in my discussion board question here, and don't forget you have the choice of Audio Video Studio if you wanted to add a personalized touch or perhaps demonstrate a response. When you're done, come to the bottom right and click on Save. Now, the next thing is when you're setting up the discussion board, you want to move on to the discussion settings. And to access them, you want to click on this gear icon. And when I do so, this panel appears. Now, this is a choice, not a must do. You can choose to click the box to the left of Post First. And this will prevent students from seeing each other's work until they make their initial post. The next thing to keep in mind is when you build a discussion board from scratch, it does not default to be graded automatically. So you need to remember to come in here and click this box to the left of Grade Discussion for this discussion board to have a point value. Now, in discussion boards, you'll start off with the due date at the top, and to change the date, I click on this calendar here, and I use these arrows to adjust to the correct month. And in the correct month, I click on the correct day. Now, discussion boards default to the time that the computer is at. So if this is wrong, be sure to click on the clock, and you can use these arrows to make your adjustments. Now, if it is easier to not use the arrows, you can always double click in either the hour or the minute and just type in the number that you'd like. Now for AM and PM, you just use these arrows up and down to make your adjustments. To get rid of this panel, I click on the white space to the right of participation. Now, by default, there will be this participation requirement on. It will say 1, and then there's an option for post or reply. You can use this as letting the students know when their post is due. So I would click here and I would just specify that this is a post. Now, if you have a participation requirement where students, let's say, make 3 replies to their peers, click the box to the left of second due date. This is where you can show the students when their replies to their peers are due. And it's the same idea as setting up the initial date. You click the calendar and you don't have to adjust the month here, but because it's already a day apart. And then what I can do is just select the correct day. And with the clock, I can either use the arrows or just double click and make my adjustments as needed. And then to get rid of this panel, I click on the white space. Now here's where you can specify that you want replies. It doesn't matter the order. Sometimes I often just click on the post or reply first, select reply, and then I click on the number and designate how many replies I would like. Now this is a choice. This is not mandatory. You may prevent late work by clicking this box to the left of stop discussion activity after due date. We don't necessarily recommend this feature as it may cause a little bit of issues if a student wants or has a legitimate extension on this paper, but more to come on that later. I'm going to take this off for now. Now, the next thing you need to pay attention to is this grade, category, and onward section. This will affect the overall grade, and you want to make sure that this lines up to your syllabus. So starting with the grade category, even though this, yes, is a discussion board, you may use this as, for example, homework in an asynchronous class. So please make sure that the grade category lines up to what your overall grade setup is. Now, with the maximum points, you may not be grading necessarily out of 100, it may be out of 5, out of 25. Whatever the number is, click here and you can type in that number. Now, the next thing is if you did want to add a rubric, you look for where it says add grading rubric, you click on it, and then in here you can, for example, let's say add this rubric just by clicking add, and it'll be here. And then when you're done, you'll click on save, and all my information displays here, and my question is here. This is how you build and set up a discussion board. Thanks for watching.